Good day, sir. Good day to everyone who's watching this. Today, I'll be going to discuss about the comparative analysis of the multi-party system in India, Sweden, and in the Philippines. Political parties have various functions. One is promoting the interests of their voters, and they also draw up party programs. Right now, we'll specifically talk about the multi-party system. In this, multiple numbers of political parties are there and leading to the formation of a coalition governments. In the vast majority of multi-party systems, numerous major and minor political parties will hold a serious chance of holding office. The competition means that it is unlikely that one party will control the country's legislature, which forces creation of a coalition. Now, let's talk about the first country, which is India. India is the world's biggest and in many respects most remarkable democracy. Despite vast social and linguistic diversity, its political system has been surprisingly stable and effective. And these are the political parties in India. One of the oldest parties of the world is the Indian National Congress. That party's political symbol right there with a hand on a siya. Now, moving on to its positive effect is that makita man nato diha, mabasa man nato diha, since there are many parties that are formed in a multi-party system, this allows for minority groups among the electorate to be represented. This also allows for increased political participation by the masses. Moreover, the operation of multi-party system allows open, constructive criticism of the policies of the ruling government. This prevents the leaders of the ruling party from becoming despotic or tyrannical. Moving on to the negative effect, it creates confusion among the electorates as they have many choices. The ultimate goal of every political party kay to gain manpower, so that's why disadvantage siya or negative effects siya. Members of the multi-party system do not assume responsibility for administrative failures and lapses. So in accordance to a study of Odisha.gov August 2015, due to these parties, most especially these national parties, they tend to not have clear ideologies and through their manifestos and announcements, show pragmatism rather than idealism. What's more to that is that fragmentation of political parties is really possible, just like how it has been going on ever since the independence. It degenerates into an unhealthy rivalry among the various parties. This could eventually stifle development and progress. Now with the second country, which is Sweden. In Sweden, basically, all the public power proceeds from the people. In fact, every 4 years, general elections are held wherein around 7 million people are entitled to vote and thereby influence which political party will represent them. Muna siya ang mga political party sa Sweden. The Swedish Social Democratic Political Party, which symbol is by tradition a red rose, is the oldest and biggest political party in Sweden. The positive effect of the multi-party system in Sweden is that it includes political parties will represent the people in the Swedish parliament, country councils, and municipalities. Since multiple political parties exist, people have a wider selection onto which political party will be best represent the citizen in the incoming years. It particularly affords citizens the opportunity to have as many choices as possible. As such, those in support of the system say it is democratic. With its negative effects, possible or it's happening now, fragmentation of Sweden's party system to result in more drawn-out cabinet formation, recurring cabinet crisis, low legislative effectiveness, and more broken promises. Okay, in many cases, no one party is able to gain power alone. Therefore, it leads to difficulty in formation of government. Some parties might have to come together before a government can be formed, and these coalition governments can be weak and unstable. It can also lead to divisions in the nation. Same with Africa, wherein parties could be formed along tribal, religious, or ethnic lines. Lastly is the Philippines. Political parties in the Philippines are of diverse ideologies and are plentiful in number. Most of these parties do not have actual grassroots membership among ordinary voters but rather than of political figures and leaders. This means that Philippine political structure consists in large part of networks of personal relationships, many of which cut across the categorical socio-economic boundaries. So, muna siya ang mga political parties here in the Philippines. And the Nationalista Party is the oldest political party in the Philippines and in the Southeast Asia, responsible for leading the country throughout the majority of the 20th century. The positive effect of the multi-party system here in the Philippines that it engenders the principles and issues espoused by its members as part of democratic participation. It also serves as a training ground of leaders and party workers, and it embodies its constituent. In the Philippines, the heart of having a party system is inclusion. It seeks to facilitate and ensure the entry and participation of all major interest groups, or at least as many such groups as possible. For instance, the Liberal Party, which is built on the promise of becoming a true people's party through opening memberships to the general, liberal democratic public, and key sectors of the society. These multiple parties uphold various principles to embody citizens. Moving on to the negative effect of the multi-party system here in the Philippines is that it includes dependence on political parties, on personalities rather than on issues and platforms. Also, it is used only as financial vehicles to win election, and it could foster absence of party loyalty. As what we could observe, our political parties and individual candidates are beholden to personalities rather than focusing on upholding party programs, resulting to no clear set of platforms and programs. The candidates will only use these parties for popularity rather than credibility. And then it end up being politically unstable and often appears to be very messy. So in conclusion, in the multi-party system, political change is often easier with a coalition government than in one-party or two-party dominant systems. If factions in a two-party system are in fundamental disagreement on policy goals or even principles, they can be slow to make policy changes, which appears to be the case now in the US with power split between Democrats and Republicans. Still, coalition governments struggle, sometimes for years, to change policy and often fail altogether. Post-World War II, France and Italy being prime examples to that. And that's very normal because there is change. So there is negative and positive effects to it. And that would be all. Thank you.